Well, folks, we got our first fish of the day. I had that little Aberdeen trick hook that I've been doing, the automatic flip hook, and this catfish came up and hit the minnow at the light. So we got a catfish. Guys, we got something on here. About took the rod off the table. Catfish here, way it's acting. Channel cat. Yeah, little low channel. Not a bad one. He'll cook. This got another one on, so fixing to reel him in. A little bit bigger. I've got this on a brim buster right here. Caught it with an Aberdeen. Ma-in-law's done caught a catfish. Whoa, I caught me one too, guys. Caught me one too. So I've been fishing with bacon, and I thought I'd refresh it a little bit, and this thing was on, didn't even know it. Well, guys, this is a little bitty one, so why don't we just let him go? He's a pretty fish, though. That is a pretty fish. Go get bigger, buddy. Got another one on a brim buster. Tell you what, that automatic flip hook does them dirty every time. Here we are, a mess of fish right here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Ken Johnson. So I've said it in a few episodes, but I need to bring it up. So I have a shoulder injury, and because of that, sometimes I'll injure the other shoulder trying to compensate. And that means that I can't do any fishing out on the boat. I have to do very limited stuff until I actually get cleared by the doctor and get everything took care of. I'm on light duty. I can't do that much. So that's the reason why you've been seeing a lot of the lure builds, some of the reviews, things of that nature. If I go out on the boat, I have to have my wife with me. She has to drive because I can't drive the boat. It's an orchestrated issue. And so this right here is some video footage that I took a while back. If you remember my DIY automatic flip hook video, that is where I took a hook and bent it in such a way that it acts very similar to either a true turn hook or a circle hook. It's really neither one of those things, but it acts in a similar mechanism. It doesn't have a cam, so it's not really a true turn hook, and it's not doing the circle hook action. It's actually its own type of hook called a flip hook. All right. When I was a boy, they used to make them a lot. Now the only way you can get them is by through Amazon or Temu and getting them from China. They're very popular overseas, not so much in the US, but they work. The problem is that doing my method of trying to bend them, some brands break easier than others. And the problem we have here in this area is very few sporting goods stores carry a diversity of brands. So you go into the Walmart, our Walmart, even though we got way more water than a lot of other areas in America, our selection is crap. I've gone to areas with practically no water, and their sporting goods section was at least 20 times better than what we have here in my area of Florida. So that means that we have to make do with less. And like Eagle Claw, if a hook is going to break, 9 times out of 10, in my experience, it's been Eagle Claw. That's because it's a very hard hook and it's very brittle. And so it will break. It won't bend. Sometimes you want a hook to hold and be strong. Eagle Claw works. Other times you want it to bend. So I got talking with my buddy, Ricky, and we were trying to figure out ways to modify the metal in the hook. And so, since he is a knife maker and he deals with tempering of metals, I decided to do some experiments. And so, that's what this whole video is about. I'm tempering some metals. Some of them are not steel. I got some bronze. I said, let's give it a try. I had some amazing results. So, stay tuned. So these experiments were actually done in 2024 around Christmas time. So we had a bunch of company over, and I was having to work around a bunch of different events and people, and it was it was interesting. We'll say that. And so that meant that I didn't have the best camera angle sometimes, and sometimes the audio was just garbage. But at any rate, I wanted to tell you what I was testing out here. So we had four types of eagle claw hooks. They were uh, number 4 bait holder, a number 6 plane shank, and it was in bronze. I wanted to see what would happen with bronze. So we did got the bronze. Got a number 2 plane shank, and then we got a 2/0 O'Shaughnessy hook. Then I threw in a size 1 mustad beak hook. And so from there, what we did, we put them in the oven. Alright, this is after they've cooked for an hour at 450 degrees and then allowed to cool off naturally. Are bronze, so I don't expect them to have changed any, but I'm interested to see what these are. This colored differently. This changed color dramatically. So I'm interested to see just how much color change matters with that. These changed a little bit. The beak hooks, not as much. These changed. So those two right there, I'm interested to see what those. The bronze did change too, but I think that's just patina. Something to note with these beak hooks, look at how they are bent naturally. Alright, so you have to make sure you bend them back, true when you're doing this. Using some pliers, I've now, see, now it's more true. Alright, so just bend that back so that it's like it ought to be. Like always, our first bend is back at about a 90-degree angle. You can see that. Then you bend forward at a 45-degree angle. Now, right here, this is too open. This needs to come in just a little bit, right? And that's because when this is aligned with this, that should be grabbing. Alright, and that's actually going, that's like, see that point there? It's almost at the same angle as that. You want that to kind of be coming in just a little bit, about, I don't know, 10, 15 degrees there. Alright, now you can see the difference in it. When this comes down, this isn't parallel. This actually came in just a little bit, and that little tip right there, when it flips up, it's grabbing. It wants to grab. Like the mustad size 1 beak hook, the size 2 plain shank eagle claw hook, you can see that it has that curve. We need to fix that first. Just like that. As you can see right here, that the size 2 broke. I also had this happen with the eagle claw 2/0 O'Shaughnessy. So either my tempering is off or it's the wrong temperature. Again, you don't know these formulations. It didn't happen with mustad, but I only have one mustad size and type, so I can't just totally blame it on Eagle Claw. But as is true with Eagle Claw, when I try to bend them, they break, and that's been true with size 2 alt O'Shaughnessy and the size 2 plain shank, at least 25% of the time when I was bending these. The bait holder size 4 is unique because not only do I have to deal with that twist, but on the shank is some barbs. So I got to bend down the barbs, and then I've got to bend the shank right. First one with the Eagle Claw size 4 bait holder. When I tried to bend that shank, it broke. It always bends right there at the shank, or breaks right there at the shank. There's the second bait holder that broke. So there it is. I only got 2 of these to work. Now, admittedly, it's probably because of the little barbs on the shank. So I'm not going to say it's necessarily Eagle Claw. These are bronze, so they didn't really change that much. I think they got a little easier to deal with, but not that much easier. These right, so I lost one of this. I lost 2 of that. So the ones that were non-bronze, I lost 25% here, 50% here, which is not a good return. The bronze, no breakage. When I went to the mustad, they bent perfectly. I used to have breakage with them. When I did this method with them, I had full 100% bendability. They did good. Eagle Claw, same issue. 2 O'Shaughnessy, 25% breakage. So if you do Eagle Claw, it may need to go a little higher, it may need to go a little longer. I don't know, but it seems to work well with the mustad. So that's what I would do, is do this with the mustad. I may experiment a little bit more in the future with this, but this seems to work mustad. Problem with Eagle Claw, if I would do this flip hook design, I would use it. If I was doing Eagle Claw or something other, I'd go with the bronze hooks. Alright, so a lot of people have been asking, why is it I have a problem with Eagle Claw? Well, I use Eagle Claw, but my problem with them is if you look here, there's no hook point. Back the last part of 2024, that final fishing video that I did for 2024, I caught a catfish and was taking it off, and that just broke. This metal is extremely hard, and so I'm trying to figure out a way that I can use Eagle Claw hooks without them breaking, because that's the problem with them. If you do any type of bending, they break, and I want to use the Eagle Claws I have to do my little trick hooks. Let's talk about that. So I did catch I always catch fish on these hooks. I've caught various catfish on brim hooks, and it holds. The automatic flip hook, what it does is that it kind of changes how the hook works, and so it's able to carry a stronger load than it normally would without bending out. I've found these things to be extra grabby, so you have to be very careful, because it disengages all the safety features and it engages features that you didn't have before, like hooking. It will hook onto everything. It will try to hook itself onto anything and everything. That's the reason why it catches the fish so well. But I really do want you to try this hook. You may not want to try baking in an oven, but if you're having a problem where your hooks are breaking, you can try different temperatures and see if that works. I have found the Eagle Claw, it's not that great. We don't have access to owner. If I could get some owner hooks, I would love to see how that works. Gamakatsu, I can get them sometimes, and sometimes I can't. Generally speaking, this is a great hook to use when you do not have access to a circle hook. So if you have a circle hook or access to a circle hook, I recommend you use that. But if you don't, I would say to do the flip hook. Mustads, they do real well with this hook, hook modification. So give it a try. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.